And we're back here yet again at the Madison Civic Center, now with the coaching staff here at Scott High School.
Two of us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, two of you. It takes more than two to tango to get this team rolling, huh?
Believe it, yeah.
Well, you guys made it. Congratulations yet again on making back up to Charleston. I know that's not what the season was all about, just making it to Charleston. But still, how does it feel to be back?
Good. You agree, Coach?
Feels real good.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, 2 times in 3 years, and that's our goal to make it. One of our goals to make it to Charleston. And now that we're there, Coach and I and the boys, we just feel like we're going to make a run. But we're like we told them today, we're going to take it one practice at a time, one day at a time, one game at a time. So we're just real excited to be down there to showcase our kids off in our community. And it should be a fun week if we do the things that we're supposed to do.
You talk about doing the things you're supposed to do, and, Coach, you preach defense all the time. And me and Tony have been all around the state, and we don't know if there's another team, that plays defense the way you guys do. How did you get your kids to buy into that mentality?
Do it or sit. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, either you play defense or you sit. I mean, for example, David Ward there, he's a prime example. Everyone said, well, he'll never play defense for you. He'll never play defense for you. Well, it's real simple. The coaches got him down and said, David, you got the offensive tools. You got to learn how to play defense. If you don't, you won't play. And they know that if they don't play defense, if they don't box out, and they don't do the little things we ask them to do, then they're not going to get to play. I don't care how many points they can put on the board. And that's a coach's staff decision, not just mine. But and we got tough-nosed kids. I think that's a lot to do with it too. They'll bend over backwards to make sure they get the job done defensively. So hopefully we'll play that good, like I always say, Scott D. And if we do that and we play offense like we're capable of doing, I don't see why we can't do something special this weekend coming up.
Absolutely.
Well, first you got up the Point Pleasant Big Blacks. You played them twice this year, Cardinal Conference team. Cardinal Conference got 3 teams in the state tournament, so, we were talking about that earlier. It just shows you how much competition you had at least played twice this year. You guys had a little letdown at Point Pleasant there that last week of the regular season. So, you're around your boys, more than anybody. Are they excited to get this chance to take on Point Pleasant in the first round and avenge that loss?
Well, Coach, right after we beat Sissonville, our kids were asking, what seed do you think we're going to get? Who do you think we're going to get to play? And then first thing they said was,
we hope we get
Point Pleasant.
We hope we get Point.
And here we are, we get Point Pleasant. Because did we have a letdown? I guess. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, let down. The intensity wasn't very good to start with. If we play with intensity like we can, we should be fine. But we got to come out with intensity. We can't take them for granted for sure.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the Sissonville thing. We want to prove that we're better than what we showed up at Point Pleasant. Now, don't get me wrong, Point Pleasant's a well-coached team. They play really good team defense too. Yeah, and we're going to have our work cut out. But we feel like if we do what we're supposed to do and we get down, we play that good Scott D, and we run through our sets, I don't see why we can't.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, because we got to see this a couple times this season, Coach, and we talked about, me and Tony in our intro, the maturation of Justin Harmon with his back to the basket. I mean, his footwork, in my opinion, has been steps and steps. It's more like leaps. I mean, can you explain that? Is that something you guys work with him on?
Yeah, that's I give credit to my assistant coaches when we do our offensive individual skill work. Coach McComas, Coach Campbell, and Coach Linville, they do all that. I just oversee it. I tell them what I want done. So those 3 guys have done an excellent job in developing our players offensively and defensively. But Justin, he's just a hard worker. I mean, he wants to win. He wants to win. He wants a state championship, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get one. And the flip side to it too, he's 6'7", 365 pounds. There's not too many guys that big in the whole state of West Virginia. I don't care from 2 years old to 80 years old. So that helps him out a lot too. But Justin is such a fine young man, a mature young man. You won't find one person say a bad thing about him. And this is great for him and the rest of the guys. I mean, what a great bunch of kids. I know I did an interview the other day, and we were talking, and they said, what's the one thing that stands out this year in your mind about your team? I said, none of them's missed practice. None of them's been late.
That's impressive.
And when you do that, good things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
No.
I mean, you hear of other teams around the area having that same problem. So for your boys, for you saying that just right there explains how much dedication you have to your team.
Well, I think it's a testament to our coaching staff. We don't miss. We're not late. We're on time. We work hard. And if the kids see you doing that, then they're going to do that. And to be honest with you, we haven't had that problem in 4 or 5 years here. My first year, we had a few tested waters, and we, like I always said, we had to make them lab rats. We ran them real good and said it ain't gonna work like that. We had to sit them, but after about halfway through that first year, 5 years ago, everyone realized, hey, these coaches, they're gonna stick to their guns. And I just told the kids earlier, I know we're in the state tournament, and I probably shouldn't have to tell you this, but if you goof off in class, if you miss school, if you happen to miss a practice, you're not going with us. You stay home. Discipline's what our team's all about, and the coaches are on board with it, the players are on board, and the parents are finally on board. And you get those three working together like that, you have a good mix right there.
It showed this year, that's for sure. Coach, what's different this year than what it was 2 years ago with the Skyhawks going to the Civic Center? Anything?
Coach?
On the spot.
On the spot. The 2 years ago, we had 2 scores, same as we do this year, but they was guards. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a lot of support, to be honest. We got a lot of support this year. Excuse me. The guards is take care of the basketball well. We feed it inside. So we're a lot different team than we was 2 years ago. Comparable, but we are different.
Okay.
The guard play was better 2 years ago. Our inside presence is a lot better this year.
I would say, say so.
Yeah.
We've never had inside presence like this.
No.
I mean, not too many AA teams have this type of.
I can't even think of not even a handful of AAA teams that would have the size you guys. I mean, that's an advantage itself.
We played a tough schedule 2 years ago also, and I credit that's why we got there 2 years ago.
Okay.
And their schedule was good this year. We played the tough teams, and it makes you better. That's why you got a few losses, but it makes you better.
Right. You gotta lose some to win more, right?
You do.
Well, I know. Let's keep it right here with Mr. McComas. Now, I can testify to the disciplinarian that Mr. Kingery is. Now, you've been on his staff for quite a few years, and a lot of people see him on the sidelines, and they go, "Man, that guy, what is he over there doing?" Can you elaborate on some of that?
I've been asked that several times. How do you put up with him? Everybody don't see both sides of him.
Right.
They see the idiot side of him on the sidelines, and they asked me how's he do? I said, honestly, he's an idiot, but he's a great coach.
That's right.
But seriously, he has done a good job. People's bought into it. I've been with him since he came here, and I've seen it turn leaps and bounds. I mean, it has.
2 state tournaments in 5 years. Yeah, that's turning the page for sure.
They'll get you a little respect, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, you had two sectional championships in the regional.
Right.
In the state. I mean, last year we played hard. We just couldn't score. Our defensive team last year, if you look at it, was probably as good or better than this year, but we couldn't put the ball in the bucket.
Right.
And the thing about that team, they got so much better from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. When we got beat by Chapmanville last year in double overtime, I was heartbroken. But when I went home, I thought, we have nothing to be ashamed of because this team got so much better from November to March, and they were in position to win the ball game. And I was as happy with that team last year as I have been with the other 4 or 5 teams.
Absolutely. When you see a team grow like that, that's what all coaches say. They just want to see their team from day one to the end to get better.
And, since Coach has been here, we have. I mean, from the first of the year to the end of the year, we've always got better. Right. I mean, we have. They've worked hard, and he works hard. I don't figure there's nobody who works harder than he does breaking down film and trying to get everybody's tendencies.
Right. Well, it's showing on the court, and
Thanks.
As long as no one kisses me either, I will be good there too. Maybe no. Well, we thank you guys for taking the time and once again to spend time with us, and it's been an absolute pleasure covering you guys this year. and obviously we'd like to see you guys finish out the job. We'd like to see. We'd like to say we're West Virginia Sports Network, but you guys are in our backyard. So, we try not to be too big of homers, but, you guys have a great group of boys. You guys did a great job of making them respectful young men, not boys. And that says a lot, because that's something you really don't see a lot of, or at least near enough of these days. So congratulations on having a great group of boys that you can really call your own.
Well, thanks. And it's, like Coach McComas and Coach Cabell, Coach Lamble. We've had some other coaches on staff previous years, Coach Stevens and Coach Horlis. That's one thing that we preach. Our main goals as coaches here at Scott, of course, it's to win ball games. Our main goal is to get them ready for life after high school. And if we can do that and we make them productive citizens and put them in position to win ball games, then I feel like we've done our job. But we've been blessed to have good kids and good parents. So hopefully we can do something special this weekend. It's all about winning a state title. Our community's hungry for a state title. They are hungry. They want one here in the Scott District. And if we can bring that home to them. I had a lady the other day, a real good friend of my grandmother. She's about 65 years old. She told me, she said, Jason, if y'all can win this state championship, I could die a happy woman. And it brought tears to my eyes because I thought, she means it. She's sincere. And I thought, I owe it to these people. That's why I moved back here. I owe it to coaches like Coach McComas and the rest of the coaches who's worked as hard, if not harder than me. I owe it to the players. I owe it to everybody that has a piece of it. I owe it to former players that played at Scott. So I'm going to work my tail off the next 3, 4, 5 nights, and I'm sure the kids are going to work hard, and we're going to try to bring one back here. They deserve it. They do. They deserve it.
I'm not going to lie. I'll be scared to see Madison. It's going to be like Morgantown.
It'll be like Morgantown. After Morgantown, beat Miami back in '93. I was at that game. I'm sure my age was freshman year of college, and that town burnt down. But if we win a state championship on Saturday, oh, my gracious, West Madison, South Madison, Hewitt, Morrisville, all these hollers, they're all burned down, which is a good thing. Let it burn, baby. Let it burn. Let it burn. I'll call the fire marshal and say, hey, get them.
They've been getting on the X.
Yeah, they might be out there saying,
on fire.
Yeah, that's, if they're all right with it, I'm all right with it.
Well, Coach,
I won't stop them.
This is going on the World Wide Web. This is your stage. Is there anything that you want to say to the Scott District?
I appreciate the support. I think our crowd support, and not just this year, the previous years, they've bought into it. And I think it's the style of ball we play, hard-nosed basketball. That's what Boone County and Southern West Virginia is known for, hard-nosed workers. And I think they see that in our kids, hard-nosed kids working hard to achieve a goal. And they've been coming in droves, and our ticket sales have went up. And we just told the kids, anywhere we go now, summer camps, whatever, they know where Scott High School is now. It's not a mystery where Scott High School is. Now, we go out of state sometimes, they call us Scott County, and we kind of laugh about it. But in our area, even now in eastern Kentucky, people know Scott High School in Madison, West Virginia. So to our fans, be there, support us. We appreciate everything you've done, and let's bring it home. Let's bring it home.
I hear you.
Bring it home, Tony.
Let's bring it on home. Tony Lane, John Foster, Coach McComas, and head coach Jason Kingery here on wvsportsnet.com, behind the scenes.
Your sports voice of the Valley.